We're back on Nemo Nation with another fast-paced Fastport Studios half hour.
Cliff Abbott, by the way, can be found at cliffabbott.com, also over on thetrucker.com. He's a correspondent. Actually, he's a master of many trades and quite good at words. That's the best way to kind of describe Cliff. He's good at songwriting, he's good at telling a story, he's good at writing a story, and he's becoming kind of a regular habit over here. He also wants to add to the conversation from earlier by talking about bacon. What's going on, Cliff?
Hey, good morning. Good morning. How are you this morning?
Hey, Cliff. Good morning. Dave Nemo here. Good to have you back, man.
Hey, it's great to be back. It sounds like you guys are having a great time, but I can't believe that in your alarm clock Mr. discussion, nobody mentioned the smell of bacon. Wouldn't that get somebody out of bed in a hurry?
Oh, sweet mother of pearl, man.
Yes.
Sweet mother of pearl. That would.
Of course, the incidence of obesity would probably rise drastically, but, it's...
Well, look, that's why you do the bacon grease getting sprayed on you, all right? That's like you still get the smell, but you're still getting the wasabi effect where you're just like, tss.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, my God.
Discussion.
Well, I mean, but here's the thing. It wouldn't even add to obesity, man, because I got to tell you, I mean, if bacon is your principal food group of choice, you can actually eat a lot of that stuff before it starts putting pounds on you, because it's certainly avoiding all the carb bombs that are out there, That's kind of nice.
It's true, absolutely. It's got to be better than a big bag of potato chips.
As a songwriter, Cliff, is there anything coming to mind about a wasabi mister for Christmas? I don't know.
Oh, boy, that would take some creativity, but yeah, I might have to give that a go.
That's your challenge now.
Let me ask you,
absolutely.
As a guy who actually has walked a lot of the same roads that Dave has, but also, I mean, I have a memory that extends pretty far back to y'all's neck of the woods as well, too. Are there any Christmas commercials that you have a fond or never want to hear it again memory of?
Oh man, I'm going way back, and when I was a kid, they marketed this plastic battleship that would shoot these little fake missiles and things like that, and boy, I wanted that so bad, and that was probably the most exciting gift I ever received. The thing was like 3 feet long; it was humongous. And, so you
life
see that on
size.
TV, and my mother would just roll her eyes because she knew she was going to be picking those little missiles and stuff up all over the place. That's how that works.
I got to tell you, I knew that my family's financial fortunes had changed, and they changed in the blink of an eye in the mid-'70s, right around there. And I woke up one Christmas morning, and I got that car racetrack with a car. Remember the one where the car could change lanes?
Oh, yeah.
It's pretty fantastic.
And, of course, it always changed lanes at the same time that the other car changed lanes, so they always crashed at that crossover point.
I remember the totally politically incorrect toy that I had back in the 1950s when I was in grammar school, Cliff, and it was a little plastic car, and it came up. You would crash it, you would roll it across something and crash it into a chair leg or something, and it would all come up. It would explode like a crash.
Oh, I love it.
And you would have to put, you'd put them all together. It was like 4 panels, that would come off of it. And the front bumper had a little spring-loaded bumper. So you'd run it up against the wall and it would crash. How politically incorrect would that be today?
Yeah, it really is. Yeah.
Look at some America's road team drivers behind that one, right?
Well, what you could do is you could make it out of Nerf, or you could make it out of Lego, and you get away with it. Yeah. You just make it really colorful and make it look not real. That's how they do it with water pistols now. They make the water pistols look really, really cool. They just make them look like they're like from the most strange science fiction movie you ever saw in your life. They're figuring out ways for kids to engage in mayhem and mischief, and they're just making it look nice. That's the trick, is just package it nice. It doesn't matter what you do.
Absolutely.
These days, it's what you say. You can't hurt people's feelings, but you can punch them in the nose. Okay, speaking about getting punched in the nose, right now the economy is getting punched in the nose. What are you looking at? What are you writing about? Where's your eye going to last week, this week? What stories are percolating in Cliff Abbott's head?
Actually, my most recent story was about the job market and drivers who might be considering looking for new employment next year on another driving job. And there are actually some good signs. Of course, you got Dean on there earlier that talked about the economics of the industry and so forth. But when you look at things like capacity is shrinking, the number of new trucks being sold has been declining now for 3 consecutive months. and we had the worst September for truck sales since 2016. So there's fewer trucks on the road, which helps rates and so on. You've got the English language proficiency mandate coming out, and then you also have the non-domiciled driver. And between the two of those things coming out from the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration, they're expected to lose something along the lines of 30,000 drivers over the next year or two. And then you have the effects of the tariffs. If you go to the White House website, there's a big long list of countries who have committed to spending money in the United States and beefing up factories and investing in our economy. And we're talking not just billions, but even into the trillions for some of them. So that's going to generate more manufacturing domestically. And then finally, you got the Federal Reserve just cut the rates. It's going to make interest rates are down a little bit more. They very well may cut them again before the end of the year. And so that the higher availability of credit and cheaper credit rates make it more affordable. So you're going to see some trucking companies, I think, that are going to start expanding a little bit. They're going to be looking for drivers. And if I'm somebody who's looking for another driving job, it might be time for me to start paying attention to all these signs that are coming out.
My only concern in that mixture you talked about, because everything else I kind of agree with, when it comes to business deals, I just always think about Qualcomm. And I will believe, I'm at the point now where I'm at the trust but verify stage when it comes to this administration of manufacturing plans. It's the one place where I kind of go, yeah, I need to see the ground broken on that before I kind of, everything else though, I'm with you right there. It looks for the first time, as bad as it is in the short term, it looks like there is a capacity that crunch is beginning to finally ease up, and that seems to be a very real thing because we were like in such a paralysis moment, weren't we? And we only got about a minute left here because this is also fast-paced and insane. But it's insane. I apologize for nothing, but it does make it really crazy. What are you working on now? Because that's why we set up the last question. We know what you have worked on. What are you working on now? And if it's songwriting, we want to hear about that too.
Well, I'm kind of in a stall with songwriting right now as I apply other things, but I'm trying to do my next article is going to be on the regulations that are coming out, and those very ELP. I think there's a lot of misunderstandings about especially the non-domicile ruling, the emergency ruling by the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration, that we're not banning non-domiciled drivers, but we're making it much more difficult for them to be here illegally or to have a CDL when they don't have a visa or an accompanying document that allows them to be in the country. And so it's going to definitely have an impact, and it's going to have an impact that's non-regulatory as carriers adjust their hiring processes, and even as some carriers take drivers off the road, or at least move them to different routes where they're not as likely to get pulled over and busted. Florida's not a great place to be right now if you don't speak English well and you're driving the truck. So I want to explore that a little bit further and kind of clarify what the law actually says so that people have a better understanding.
Cliff Abbott has joined us this morning. It's always good to have you, my friend. You can go to cliffabbott.com. You can go to thetrucker.com and find out what he's got cooking. But there's so many other places too. Go to that website, cliffabbott.com, Dave, and you'll see that there's so much going on here.
Oh, yeah.
A great bio, a man who knows trucking inside and out from all points on the road. Thank you, Cliff. Can't wait to get you back on.